Swinging through the skyscrapers of New York is great, but do you know what would be greater? Earning that shiny platinum trophy. This is going to be my first ever platinum trophy, and Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered is the absolute perfect choice for the job. I'm going to take you through the highs, the lows, and everything in between. So let me take you through this absolutely spectacular journey. Hey, I'm Rezi, and I'm making it my mission to platinum the most amazing games out there. If you love gaming, trophies, and that sweet platinum glow, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smack the like button, and also drop a comment of what game I should platinum next. Today's mission: Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered. From many collectibles to painstaking side content, but not forgetting that this is the remastered version. So there are 3 sets of DLCs to go through, and one story was a little bit more favorable than the others. Before we get started, let's make a plan of action. Step 1, play the story, obviously. Step 2, who am I kidding? There's no structure to this video. We're just going to jump right in and have some fun. The trophies will come later. Kicking things off with some instant action, we take out some of Fisk's men, introducing us to the controls. And then my game froze. I'm pushing every single button on the controller. My game just froze. This is such a bad start. The music's still playing. Right, moving on. I made my way to Fisk Tower where we met the White Shrek, and this kicked off our first boss fight of the game, where it reminded me that I was on spectacular difficulty. Bitch, boy, don't... Fuck!
Still haven't learned.
No!
Still haven't.
No!
Still haven't.
I promise I was only dying for the content, but it made defeating him even sweeter. Oh fuck. No, 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 no. Oh my god. Yeet! Let's go. Taking him down.
Should we kiss now?
I don't want to kiss
Yeah,
Baldy.
maybe later.
Oh, I got a trophy, my first one. Let's go. We then go to our real job where my boss is the one and only Otto Octavius. And other than his hairline, all things are looking good. After helping him, we head to the streets of New York, and first on the list was to activate the surveillance towers across the city. And now this showed us where all the crimes, collectibles, and other side content across the map were that we can do at a later date. After the brawl with Fisk, I needed to fix up my suit before feeling like a 13-year-old boy stroking his meat and being walked in on. The absolute genius Octavius came to the conclusion that I made Spider-Man's suit and I wasn't actually Spider-Man.
Huh?
And with some upgrades from Otto, we went back out into the city to fight some more crime. I made light work of these guys and it gave me a trophy for 10 perfect dodges. And then moving on to our second home, which is Feast, where Aunt May works. This is where we get introduced to Martin Lee, who is definitely not suspicious at all. Upon leaving Feast, I go do some side activities, collect 5 backpacks along the way, before moving on with the main story, which leads us to an auction house where we get to do the best missions ever. MJ missions. Honestly, the only thing that got me through these missions was the obnoxious usage of the camera. But anyway, we sneak into a secret room and discover a file containing some information on Devil's Breath. Shortly after, a gang of masked enemies come in looking for that exact file. This is where we finally get to play back as Spider-Man and stealthily take out these guys. By putting these guys to sleep, I stole one of their masks, went on a date with the side chick, and we got a beautiful Stan Lee cameo. Heading back out into the city, we see Shocker on the loose, which led to an annoying chase scene, but we caught him in quick time before making our way over to Feast. Back at Feast, we meet Martin Lee, where he finally gets to use his ultra useful art and history degree, because I'm sure owning a homeless shelter really utilizes that degree. Anyway, with a brief chat from him, he politely tells us to stay away from anyone with a demon mask and tells us to get on with our day. So for now, we do, and head back to our real job where we see Otto using his tech for good and helping someone, before Norman Osborn rocks up in an attempt to shut the place down. Because Osborn is somewhat of a scientist himself, he deems this place unsafe when his true intention was for Otto to come back to Oscorp and work for him again. Remember 5 minutes ago when we put Shocker in jail? Yeah, well, the dumbass broke out and is robbing a bank. But after dropping the entire building on his face, that put an end to his bank robbing spree, and then we robbed him of our next trophy. Shortly after, receiving another trophy for swinging through the rooftops on our way to the next mission. Upon arriving at Fisk's hideout and clearing out his men, we meet a cop named Jefferson Davis who helps us discover a vault and then chase down some demons before pulling the ultimate heroic act by driving his car into a lorry, saving the day. A good day for him, but a bad day for us as we get evicted from our apartment, which gets even worse as MJ is not available to stay the night with. However, we do get our little booty call from the one and only Black Cat. Here we are introduced to the stakeout side missions where we must photograph 12 cats that Black Cat has placed around the city. Our first one giving us a trophy for the hard work. Defeating more of Fisk's men resulted in an awesome helicopter chase, which was luckily caught on camera by the one and only Miles Morales. As I'm sure most of you know, Miles is the son of Jefferson Davis. Speaking of which, we make our way to his ceremony now where he is presented with his heroic reward. This is where Miles' unstoppable cannon event happens and his father dies, this time at the hands of Martin Lee. A week later at the funeral, Peter tries to make peace with Miles, offering up any help he can give, and following this we get our next story related trophy for completing Act 1. A quick break from the story missions, I take out one of the bases, earning us the Ace of the Base trophy for completing all of the side objectives within a base. Moving on to this junkyard guarded by some armed men, we make our way inside and reveal some plans from Martin Lee to attack the city. Osborn, however, was not messing around when protecting the city, as he hired an army of stormtroopers from Sable International, which is run by this badass. Staying out of their way, we head to Feast to see if we can gather some more information on our good buddy Martin Lee, and of course he has a hidden room behind his office. We grab the folder on Devil's Breath, and just as we sneak out, we are met by the main man himself. As I try to follow him out the door, he uses his negative powers to have these guys attack me before he disappears off into the wind. Back to work again, but this time Otto has made some progress on his arm, but this is where we notice the fatigue on his body. Hopefully that anger and frustration doesn't lead to anything bad. After a hard day at work, I go to MJ's house and she gives me this weird tracker device. I wonder where that came from. Long story short, she's sneaking around and we get introduced to Tombstone, who is this big white bulletproof dude that has many anger issues. Then MJ took it upon herself to sneak into his office and steal this tracker. What a lovely flashback. But as I was whipping up a storm in the kitchen, the city calls and we get out to fight some more crime. Climbing up this building in the next mission, I got the most random trophy ever. Oh, I just got a trophy. For what? Complete a level 1 traversal. Sweet, that was the most random thing ever. Making it to the penthouse of this building where the CFO of Oscorp is being held captive. I make light work of the guards around him and we safely very safely drag the CFO down the elevator shaft and get him to safety. I decided to finally upgrade my gear, resulting in this trophy, and it actually annoyed me in the edit seeing how long it took me to do this. Then I thought it would be a good idea to give a Taskmaster challenge a go, and I got this trophy for getting spectacular or higher, which wasn't too bad, it was quite fun. Next up was a Halloween party, and since I was already dressed for the occasion, I thought I'd show up. We are looking for this doctor that has some more information on Devil's Breath, but he gets whisked away by some demons. After chasing them down, we see the doctor with Lee before he gets given the instruction to unalive himself, which honestly caught me by surprise. Moving on from that tragic death, I make my way up Oscorp Tower, and upon breaking and entering, we gather some information on GR27, aka Devil's Breath. And we basically see that in its current form, it is really dangerous to humans and would cause a major pandemic. I'll save you from getting bored on this next mission. It was another MJ mission where she sneaks around, finds the CFO to gather more information on him, but good old Peter Parker jumps in and ruins the mission for her. And then Pete and MJ have a little breakup period. A little bit of breakup therapy later, I beat up some guys and get a trophy for it, which I won't complain at all. Back to my 9 to 5 again, we help Otto fix his helmet, and that concern for his health is really starting to build up as his health is dropping massively. In the city, beating up some scrubs, I managed to perform 75 stealth takedowns. And then swinging by, a drone Taskmaster challenge caught my eye, and with getting spectacular on that resulted in another trophy to add to the list. On the way to Feast, we save Miles from some masked men, and then Miles clocks us in the jaw as a thank you, clearly. We are left playing with Miles here and getting introduced to his hacking ability that later in the game will become a little bit of a gimmick, but it is what it is. Finally, making it to Feast for Miles' first day at work, Peter shows him the ropes before shooting off as he gets news that Devil's Breath is on the move. In an attempt to stop Martin Lee from running away with the Devil's Breath, he uses his negative powers to put us in this weird dimension where he tries to convince us to join him. Obviously, with Spider-Man being good and all of that, we politely refuse and pull the truck to a halt. Martin Lee, however, is not in sight, and we make sure the Doctor is safe before our good friends at Sable International get involved. And then swinging through the city having the time of our lives, we got this trophy, which was nice and easy. Then on to the next, oh Jesus Christ, another MJ mission. As you can imagine, she got herself into a sticky situation as the demons lock down the train station and plant a bomb in the center of the room containing Devil's Breath. And Peter Parker making his entrance to save the day as MJ very carefully defuses the bomb, which looked like any child could have been capable of doing. We catch up to Lee and have our first hand-to-hand combat with him, and absolutely cooked him until he was well done. After launching the train through a blocked off road, Sable lock up Lee, sending him off to Raft, which is like an Alcatraz but on steroids, and they also take care of the Devil's Breath for us. Enough of being a superhero now, and heading back to our day job, Otto shows us his brand new arms, which don't look terrifying at all. This is where the game starts to make a big shift, as Otto's health is completely on its last legs, and we start to see that true hatred he has for Mayor Osborn, and nothing good can come from that. This was a real turning point in the game, and it ramped up to 100 as Devil's Breath gets stolen and all of the prisons get broken into. However, the plus side to all our enemies being out in the wild, the game gives us one of my favorite cutscenes from any video game I have ever played. So I'm just gonna let this one play through so you can experience this greatness too.
Remember, he said not to kill him.
Good idea. In fact, we don't have to do this at all if you don't want to.
He definitely wants to.
Bro, this is a cinematic masterpiece. Oh shit.
First and final warning. Stay out of our way.
With that cinematic masterpiece ending, we get a trophy from completing Act 2, which felt very well earned. In the next scene here, Otto drops Devil's Breath across Times Square, releasing it into the city, and now we are truly screwed. Oh, and to make matters even worse, Aunt May is sick, so that's just fantastic. With the city in an absolute meltdown, I was fighting everyone on site, and in the back of my mind during these fights was the trophy for the 100x combo, and you're about to see the luckiest thing I've ever done. No! Please, the achievement is right there. Please. Yes! How did I get that? How did I get that? I scammers. Scammers. Holy shit. That was... So yeah, I got that trophy, thank God, and it was because of one suit mod that allowed you to take one hit before you lose your combo, and that saved me massively. Remember those villains that escaped the prison? Yeah, now we have a freaking rhino on the loose, and Shocker is being an absolute nuisance in the city, but after saving the police station from Shocker's antics, I have to rush over to Aunt May and Miles as they are stuck in a burning building. After a very close call, I managed to get them to safety and recruit Miles as a sidekick, and all the gang is coming together now. Okay, now don't judge me for this next trophy. Yes, I only just got this one now. Time for some detective work as we go to where Otto released the Devil's Breath and follow the trail to his secret lair. This secret lair has a bunch of information on all of the villains and how Otto had this planned all along. By surprise, Vulture and Shocker drag me across the city, leading to an awesome fight with some fantastic moments in it. But it did not take long to put them both to the ground, and we got a well-earned rest after this fight. Waking up from my slumber, I get my trophy for defeating Dumb and Dumber, which felt great. Next on the list for this boss rush was Scorpion, and he gave us the craziest acid trip of our lives. This fight was a bit ass, and somehow we ended up in our undies, but we keep the ball moving. Moving on from that, we get a glorified MJ mission with Miles before the fight with Rhino and Scorpion start. During this fight, you had to use the environment to take them out, which made it really fun and also quite easy. But with making quick work of them and throwing them into a shipping container so they can have some alone time, I get another trophy for defeating them both. I was going to make another joke here about an MJ mission, but since this is the last one, and it wasn't even that bad as we had a stun gun to zap them with some girl power. But sneaking around in Osborn's hidden office, we nearly get caught by the boss lady from Sable, and then this scene just weirds me out with the spiders crawling all over MJ. It's like my worst nightmare. Heading to Oscorp Industries to follow Lee, we get caught by Miss Sable International herself, and then grudgingly she gives in to work as a team, and we make our way to stop Lee. Once reaching Lee and having a long fight with him, I finally managed to break his guard and take him out, resulting in a very fitting trophy, Staying Positive, since Lee's alias is Mr. Negative. The celebrations were short-lived as Otto comes crashing through the ceiling and without hesitation yeeting Lee out of the way. Before even getting the chance to fight back against Otto, he beats the brakes off us, leaving us knocked out as he takes the anti-serum and Mayor Osborn with him. We get carried back to Feast to hopefully recover from that ass whooping, but as we are unconscious, we see Miles get bitten by one of the spiders from Osborn's lab. Barely recovered, I make it to Otto's lab, and this is where the game warns us that this is our last chance to upgrade any gear before the end of the story. Full steam ahead though as we enter Otto's lab and make a brand new suit that looks incredible in my opinion. And with these new upgrades from our new suit, we head into the final story battle of the game. This fight was honestly epic in every way, giving us some challenges along the way as we weren't able to touch the floor in some sections, and then he could only be damaged by projectiles in others. Then getting to the final stages of the fight, he reveals that he knew us all along.
Appointment. Parker.
He knew. But after a flat out brawl and one final push to defeating Otto, we managed to pull out his connector and turn him into a complete vegetable. And most importantly though, I take the anti-serum back and leave him for Sable International to clean up. While all of this has been going on, Aunt May has been on a deathbed for the past 48 hours, and now Peter is faced with the hardest decision of his life. And out of respect for May, I'm just gonna let this one play out because it hit that hard.
Take off your mask. I want to see my nephew.
You knew? I never wanted you to work.
I did. And I'm so proud of you. And then me too. All the people you saved.
I don't know what to do.
Yes, you do.
Is he gonna flatline? Shit. Damn. That's the story done, and here are my raw thoughts upon completion. That's the story. That was a fucking good story. I enjoyed that. That was awesome. I don't know how long that took. 10, 12 hours, maybe something like that. And now I think it's cleanup time. That was so good. I've wanted to play this game for so long. I never had a PlayStation, and here we are with a PlayStation, about to get my first platinum. I can't even skip. I'm not mad about it. That was so good. Honestly, that's getting like, ooh, an 8.5. If the side content is not bad at all, this could easily be like a 9 out of 10 game. The story was good. We've now got development into Miles, room for Spider-Man 2. I know nothing, and I know these games are so old, and anybody watching this has probably already played all of them. But for me, I've not watched any YouTube on it. This is just raw experience. The MJ missions suck though. Hey, endgame. Wait. Go. Look. Complete Act 3. Let's go. 20%. Oh my god, I've got cleanup to do. And cleanup indeed is what I need to do, and I thought I'd change my suit now the story is done. And yeah, I got this. Oh. Wear 5 new spider suits. Dope.
You're back.
I didn't mean to do that.
How's your mom?
One of the first things I did back into the city was a Taskmaster challenge and getting the trophy Fists of Fury for spectacular or better on one of the combat challenges. Then tackling all of the crimes in our first district here gave us the Neighborhood Watch trophy. This only took around 15 minutes to get and it wasn't bad at all. I should have done this sooner, but I got this trophy here with my tokens and upgrading my gadget to the max. If you think I cheesed that 100x combo earlier, take a look at this. Well, if I didn't have that trophy already, this would be certainly a good way to go. Look at that, 100 combo. I'm starting to think this guy's not gonna die. Right, okay, alright, let's leave it.
Sorry, spider emergency.
Annoyingly, I wasn't recording for this next one, but I wanted to show it anyway, just to prove that I did it. So, I wasn't recording, obviously. I knew this was gonna happen at some point. But, I think if I go here, I webbed some people up. I don't know what to tell you. I did it. I promise. This next trophy here is pretty self-explanatory. Surely.
Not gonna lie.
Let's go.
Feeling pretty good about
I
myself
did get
right
the
now.
ultimate. Achieve ultimate on a Taskmaster. Yeah. That was kind of easy. As I was doing a bunch of crimes on that way to completion, this one was ticked off quite easily for 10 vehicle takedowns. I completely forgot about the side villain Tombstone that MJ found ages ago, but I figured it was time to beat his ass as this is my city and ain't no one gonna take that away from me. Hey! Defeat Tombstone. Sweet. Then, after beating his ass, I decided to celebrate my win with the public and dapping them all up, and this giving us a trophy for our efforts. Swinging through the city was a little bit tiring, so I decided to take the subway instead. With Martin Lee now in prison, some of his men were still out in the city, so I decided to wipe out all of his warehouses. And then, channeling my inner Batman here, I stealthily got spectacular on the Stealth Master challenges. Finally, hitting max level, we get our last upgrade, giving us another trophy, and I believe this could be our first gold one in the game. Oh yeah, remember Baldy from the start of the game? Yeah, well, he had some hideouts in the city, so I made sure to take care of all of them. Now, I can't show you all of this on YouTube, but Black Cat and I had some alone time, and she made me a suit for my good efforts, and getting a trophy as well. Just kidding, that was for completing all of the stake outside content. Now let's get some sightseeing done of this beautiful city, giving us a very easy trophy. And now finally picking up our last backpack here. No clue how we can afford 55 backpacks, but I'll let it slide. Being a superhero must pay well. While doing a lot of the side content, I collected a bunch of tokens, allowing me to max out my gear, which resulted in one of the remastered trophies. Never in my life do I want to take down another Sable outpost, so thank God they are all done. Now you're about to watch me take out the last lot of prisoners and give you a little tutorial on how to cheese the hardest trophy in the game. If you even hate on me for cheesing this, I'm just working smarter, not harder. Hey, trophy. So apparently there's a bug during
Captain.
this. Click. Click. Let's see what happens. Hey! I was not doing that. Well, clearly I took damage, but we cheesed this one a little bit. It did seem a bit, I didn't want to do it, let's just say that. As a reward for completing all of the side content, we get the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man trophy. This was then followed by the School trophy for completing the Corrupt Student missions. And then, barely even 2 minutes later, we catch the last of Howard's pigeons, resulting in another trophy. And now, I am really glad I don't need to catch another one of these flying rats. Shooting our webs at the last bomb here, we complete our last Taskmaster challenge, and now hopefully we can show Taskmaster what's up. And that we did. He got absolutely pieced up. For all that work, I thought this fight would be a little more exciting, but yeah, we took him out with ease. And now you'll see my reaction for what happens after hitting level 50. So that's it, we've done. Wait, superior level. Health increase. One? What the fuck is the point in that? I've been scammed. That extra 1 health and 1% extra damage really helped me get through these research missions. This next trophy here is a big one, so I'll just let my reaction play out for this. Give me it. There we go! Oh my god, I'm so happy that's done. I think that's 165 crimes or something like that. Oh, here we go. Base game is nearly done. Let me just... your trophies... Boom, 92%. Only right that I do this next one in my undies, of course. Here we go. Hero for hire. On our final cleanup trophy of the base game, what you're watching is me turning the ability to skip puzzles in the options menus. And oh boy, did it make this next one quick to do. Damn, I'm glad I'm not doing these. Holy.
Weapons without me even noticing.
Alright, that's all of them. Is it done? Hey, bit of a fixer-upper. Complete all of the optional objectives in the lab. Now it's time to tackle the first of the 3 DLC stories. This one involved everyone's favorite love interest, Black Cat. Oh my god, I would give anything in my life for 2 seconds with this gorgeous specimen. Her story in this DLC is that she had been working for a guy named Hammerhead, who is the gang leader of one of the crime families in the city. He has given Black Cat the mission to track 5 data drives, and this all leads to a mysterious hidden fortune. But where do we come into all of this? Well, let me tell you. Back in the day, Peter and Felicia Hardy, who is Black Cat, used to, well, you know. And with those connections, that puts the story together. And Hammerhead has taken her son. So by putting those connections together, we can assume there is a high chance that this kid is probably Peter's. Not gonna lie to you boys and girls, never in my life have I been more jealous of Spider-Man. You think the shooting webs was enough? But imagine shooting webs in Felicia Hardy. Now that's a different story. With our new strength as a potential father, we did everything we could to get our son back, and then this gave us a couple story related trophies along the way. Once getting these trophies, I made sure to do some side content as I passed them on the map to save the cleanup time later on. The first set of side content, which I did manage to complete quite quickly, was the Screwball missions by getting spectacular or better in each of them. Now let me tell you, Screwball is genuinely the worst character in all of Marvel and made me want to slit my wrist. Oh, but wait, not only is she in the first DLC, she's in the other two as well. Just like in the base game, there are a bunch of crimes across the city, and we got a trophy quite early on for completing all of the crimes within a district. Carrying on with a very short story of this DLC, and we're getting to the end now, and we finally get the location of the vault where we hope to see our potential son. However, this was all a con from Black Cat, and she just used us for our help. She then locked us inside and took the drives for herself, just like the con artist she is. But by screwing us over, she screwed over Hammerhead at the same time, and he was not pleased at all, so he planted explosives at her apartment, but with our best efforts at hand, it was not quite enough to save her. That tragic ending to the first story of the DLC was a tough one, but it wasn't done yet. There was still a couple of collectibles and side content I needed to finish off. So for this last set of side content here, I was collecting some art pieces from this suspicious police officer. This guy turned out, however, to be the original Black Cat, which was just an awesome twist to end off the DLC story. By completing this, we managed to get 100% in all of the districts trophy, shortly followed by the long con, which was for completing the Like a Fiddle mission. And that wraps up this DLC story. Once wrapping up Felicia's story, we now move on to Turf Wars, where Hammerhead's crew managed to get their hands on some Sable equipment, basically turning them into the Galactic Empire. Let me tell you, these guys with the jetpacks are an absolute pain in the ass to take out. Our good friend Yuri is starting to go down a dark path here after witnessing Hammerhead have all of her men brutally murdered in front of her. Bad for her, but good for us as we get our first trophy of the DLC. Then, out of pure spite for Hammerhead killing Black Cat, I took out all of his bases as a warning so he knows I'm coming for his ass. Yuri's still on the hunt for revenge, and us ticking off another story related trophy for completing the second mission, we finally make our way to confront Hammerhead in this new exosuit, and you can tell that he just definitely couldn't find a helmet big enough for his big fat head. After having a straight up brawl with him, Yuri puts her gun to his head, and fueled with anger, she pulls the trigger, kick-starting her path to evil. Getting a trophy here for finishing up the story that was honestly so short. I had all of this done in about an hour or so, but now it's time for cleanup. First bit of cleanup was the Screwball missions, and honestly, I just wanted these done as fast as possible because that bitch was annoying. Moving very swiftly on from that, I take out all of the crimes within a single district, the same as the previous DLC, and then genuinely a couple more crimes later, we got the final trophy for 100% completion. This DLC was so short, taking around 3 hours max to complete. On to the third and final DLC now, Silver Lining. I really enjoyed this one as the premise was that we have got to team up with Miss Sable International herself to take down the ultimate villain of Hammerhead. Yeah, that's right, he managed to survive a gunshot to the head, and this time coming back stronger and harder. However, he is not the only one to escape death. That's it. Black Cat, she's alive and looking sexier than ever. Also, is it just me or is there so much sexual tension between these two? But anyway, by teaming up with Blondie here, we get our first story related trophy of the DLC. Gathering some information, this led to a massive fight between us and Hammerhead, and there was no room for error here since he had survived a shot to the head. We had to do something a little bit more convincing. This team up against Hammerhead was genuinely an awesome fight that I could do over and over. Definitely my favorite fight in the entire game personally. But that was it. Story done. It went by so fast, but I'm not complaining as we're getting ever closer to that glorious platinum trophy. Obviously, the next thing to do here was clean up, and the first thing we needed to do was Screwball and getting spectacular or better in all of her events. This was then quickly followed by a chase scene where we put her away for good, and here's my underwhelming reaction. Thank you. Unplugged. What's that for? Complete the Screwball chase. That was fucking annoying, but yeah, I got it. Yeah, thank God I never need to see her face again. But anyway, onto some side missions. We gave us a trophy for helping out this Sable agent, which had a little bit of a storyline to it, but not really. Oh yeah, and remember how Yuri was on a mad one, and after being fired from her job, well, she decided to become a vigilante by killing this guy and then tying him up on a roof. Really normal behavior, that. But anyway, that is our second to last trophy of the DLC before moving on to, you guessed it, 100% completion of the DLC. And yeah, it was just a few crimes. Not much to say, really. And this pretty much concludes my platinum journey. The only thing I've got left to do is play the game on Ultimate... Oh, for God's sake. Yeah, I'll be back. My dumbass realized that I didn't buy all of the suits, so here's that nice and easy trophy. But anyways, here's the wrap up on my second playthrough. Power and responsibility. Love that. Complete a playthrough on ultimate difficulty. There should be one more. One more time. Bang. Here we go. We're about to finalize the last trophy. And here it is, a story with a fantastic end.
Hey, Uncle Ben. Miss you. Doing my best to make you proud.
There we go. With great power comes great responsibility. And there it is, the platinum trophy. Wow, what an amazing journey. All of the DLC, the New Game Plus, the ultimate difficulty. That was an absolute journey and a masterclass. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did. It was fantastic to play, and I can't wait to get many more. Drop a comment what you think I should do next, what games to play. I'll definitely be playing the next Spider-Man games. There's 2 more to go, and I believe there might be another one later in the future. But yeah, this was a fantastic game. I've got all of this content left over that I can play in my own time on the New Game Plus. Wow, what a journey. What an absolute journey. Fantastic game. That's easily 9 out of 10 for me. Absolute 9 out of 10. Beautiful.